What makes a person a mother or a father? Is it simply biology? Is it sharing the same eyes or the same hair color? Or is it something else? Is it the person who holds you when you cry? Is it the person who chooses you, even when you are broken? I used to think family was about blood, but I learned that family is about who stays. This is the story of how I was lost, and how two strangers found me and saved my life. I would like to ask you, do you believe that love is stronger than biology? Please share your thoughts in the comments. My name is Eva, and for the first 10 years of my life I was invisible. My life began in a place that was not a home. It was a large gray building called the group home. It was a place for children who had no parents, or whose parents could not take care of them. My biological parents left me there when I was a baby. I do not remember them. I only remember the gray walls, the cold floors, and the feeling of being unwanted. The group home was crowded. There were too many children and not enough workers. We had food, and we had beds, but we did not have love. We were just numbers on a list. I was a quiet child. I learned very quickly that if you were quiet, you stayed out of trouble. I did not run or shout like the other children. I sat in the corner with a book. I tried to make myself small. I tried to be invisible. I thought that if no one saw me, no one could hurt me. People would come to the home sometimes. Couples who wanted to adopt a child. We would all be washed and dressed in our best clothes. We would stand in a line. The couples would walk past us, looking at us like we were fruit in a supermarket. They usually wanted the babies, or they wanted the happy, smiling children with bright eyes. They never looked at me. I was the skinny girl in the corner, the one with the sad eyes and the messy hair. I watched my friends leave, one by one, with their new families, and I stayed. I started to believe that I was broken. I thought I was unlovable. One rainy Tuesday, everything changed. I was 10 years old. I was sitting in my usual corner, reading an old book with missing pages. A worker came in. "Ava," she said, "there are some people who want to meet you." I did not want to go. I was tired of hoping. I was tired of being rejected. But I had to go. I walked into the small office. A man and a woman were sitting there. They looked normal. The woman had kind eyes and curly hair. The man had a gentle smile. Their names were Sarah and John. They did not look at me like I was a product. They looked at me like I was a person. Sarah knelt down so she was at my level. "Hello, Eva," she said softly. "We have heard a lot about you. We hear you like to read." I was surprised. No one ever asked me about what I liked. "Yes," I whispered. "I love to read too," John said. "We have a big bookshelf at home. Maybe one day you can see it." They did not take me home that day. They came back. They came back the next day and the next. We sat in the garden. We talked. They brought me a new book. They were patient. They did not try to hug me or force me to smile. They just sat with me. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. 3 months later, the worker told me to pack my things. "You are going home, Eva," she said. "Sarah and John have adopted you." I packed my small bag. I had 2 shirts, 1 pair of pants, and my new book. I walked out of the gray building. Sarah and John were waiting by their car. They looked so happy. But I was not happy. I was terrified. The car ride was long. We drove away from the city, towards a house with a big green lawn. It was a beautiful house. It had big windows and a swing in the front yard. "This is home, Eva," Sarah said. We walked inside. It was warm. It smelled of cinnamon and apples. They showed me my room. It was not a room with 6 other beds. It was my room. It had a soft pink rug. It had a big bed with a fluffy quilt. And on the wall, there were shelves full of books. I stood in the middle of the room. I held my small bag tight. I did not unpack. I did not touch the books. I was waiting. I was waiting for the mistake. I was waiting for them to realize that I was the broken girl from the gray building. I was waiting for them to send me back. I did not know how to be a daughter. I only knew how to be an orphan. The first few weeks in the house with the green lawn were not happy. They were a test. I was like a soldier in enemy territory. I was always watching. I was always waiting. I kept my small bag packed in the back of the closet. I did not put my clothes in the drawers. I thought, why unpack? I will be leaving soon. Sarah and John were trying so hard. Sarah would cook delicious meals. Ava, I made pancakes, she would say with a smile. Ava, do you like spaghetti? I would eat, but I would not taste the food. I ate quickly and quietly, like I did in the group home. I washed my own plate immediately. I wanted to show them I was useful. I wanted to show them I was not a burden. John would try to talk to me about books. He would come home from work and say, Hey, Ava, I saw you looking at the Harry Potter books. Do you want to read the first one together? I would shake my head. No, thank you, I would whisper. I was afraid to like him. I was afraid that if I liked him, it would hurt more when he sent me away. I created a set of rules for myself. Rule number 1, be invisible. Rule number 2, never ask for anything. Rule number 3, never, ever cry. Crying makes people angry. Crying is loud. The crisis happened on a Saturday morning. Sarah was in the garden. John was at the store. I was alone in the kitchen. I wanted to be useful. I wanted to earn my place in the house. I saw a beautiful, blue ceramic bowl on the counter. It was Sarah's favorite bowl. She told me her mother gave it to her. It was dusty. I thought, I will wash it. She will be happy. I took the bowl to the sink. I put soap on it. But my hands were small, and the soap was slippery. The heavy bowl slid from my fingers. Crash. The sound was like an explosion in the quiet house. I looked down. The beautiful blue bowl was in 100 sharp pieces on the floor. My heart stopped. The blood drained from my face. In the group home, breaking something was a terrible crime. It meant no dinner. It meant shouting. It meant being told, "You are a problem." I knew what this meant. This was the end. They would send me back. I fell to my knees. I started to pick up the sharp pieces with my bare hands. I was shaking so hard. I cut my finger on a sharp edge. It started to bleed. I didn't care. I just had to hide the evidence. I had to fix it. I was crying now, breaking my own rule. Tears fell onto the broken blue ceramic. The back door opened. Sarah walked in. She was holding a basket of flowers. She saw me on the floor. She saw the broken bowl. She saw the blood on my hand. I flinched. I pulled my arms up to cover my face. I waited for the yell. I waited for the anger. "I'm sorry," I screamed. "I'm sorry. Please don't send me back. I didn't mean to. I'll fix it. I'll pay for it." The room was silent for a second. Then, I heard the basket drop to the floor. I heard footsteps running towards me. Sarah knelt down on the hard tiles. She didn't look at the bowl. She didn't look at the mess. She took my bleeding hand in hers. "Eva," she said. Her voice was not angry. It was shaking. "Eva, look at me." I couldn't. I was sobbing too hard. "I broke it. I broke your mother's bowl. You hate me." "Oh, honey, no," she said. She pulled me into her arms. She didn't care about the blood on my hand staining her shirt. She held me tight. "It's just a bowl. It's just a thing. I don't care about the bowl. You're hurt. That is the only thing I care about." I stopped struggling. I froze in her arms. She didn't care about the bowl. That was impossible. Adults always cared about their things. She gently lifted me up. She led me to the sink. She washed the cut on my finger with cool water. She was so gentle. She put a bandage on it, a bandage with little Snoopy dogs on it. Then she sat me down at the table. She sat opposite me. She looked me in the eye. "Eva," she said seriously, "listen to me. In this house, we break things sometimes. John broke a lamp last week. I burned the toast this morning. Accidents happen. We do not send people away for accidents. We do not send people away for making mistakes." She took a deep breath. "We adopted you because we want you to be our daughter. Not our guest, not our employee, our daughter. And daughters are allowed to break bowls." I looked at her. I looked at the bandage on my finger. I looked at the broken pieces on the floor. John walked in then. He saw the mess. He saw my red eyes. "What happened?" he asked. "I broke the blue bowl," I whispered, waiting for him to be angry. John looked at the floor. "Oh," he said. "That old thing? I never liked it anyway. It was too heavy." He smiled at me. "Are you okay, kiddo?" He got a broom and started to sweep up the pieces. He whistled while he worked. He wasn't angry. He was normal. That afternoon, something changed inside me. The fear didn't disappear completely, but it cracked. Just like the bowl. I went to my room. I opened the closet door. I looked at my small bag, still packed. I thought about Sarah's hug. I thought about the Snoopy bandage. I thought about John whistling. Slowly, very slowly, I unzipped the bag. I took out my 2 shirts. I put them in the drawer. I took out my pants. I hung them up. I took out my book. I put it on the shelf next to the other books. I was unpacking. I was staying. That night, for the first time, I didn't sleep curled up in a tight ball. I stretched out my legs under the fluffy quilt. It was warm. It was soft. And for the first time in 10 years, I fell asleep without waiting for the bad thing to happen. But the journey wasn't over. Unpacking my clothes was easy. Unpacking my heart was much harder. I still had secrets. I still had nightmares. And I still didn't know how to say the words Mom and Dad. I called them Sarah and John. They didn't mind. They said, "Take your time." But I wanted to be normal. I watched other children at the park. I saw how they ran to their parents. I saw how they laughed. I felt like an alien observing a different species. I didn't know how to be that free. One night, a few weeks later, a terrible thunderstorm came. The thunder shook the house. The lightning was bright and scary. In the group home, storms were terrifying. The windows would rattle, and the older kids would tell scary stories to frighten the little ones. I used to hide under my bed. I woke up when the thunder crashed. I was 7 years old again, terrified and alone. I rolled off the bed and scrambled underneath it. I pulled my knees to my chest. I covered my ears. I waited for it to end. Then, my bedroom door opened. "Eva?" It was John. "Are you okay? That was a big one." He turned on the light. He saw the empty bed. He looked around the room. "Eva?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. I was frozen. He saw my foot sticking out from under the bed. He didn't try to pull me out. He didn't tell me to get up. He did something amazing. He lay down on the floor. He shimmied his big body until he was under the bed with me. It was a tight squeeze. He looked ridiculous. "Hi," he whispered. I stared at him. "What are you doing?" I whispered back. "It's loud out there," he said. "It's quieter under here. Move over a bit." He lay there with me, on the hard floor, under the bed. He smelled like safe soap and old books. You know, he said conversationally, when I was a kid, I was scared of storms too. My dad told me that thunder is just the clouds bowling. They are trying to get a strike. I giggled. It was a small, rusty sound, but it was a giggle. Yeah, he said. Listen. Boom. Oh, that was a spare, not a strike. Sarah came in a minute later. She saw John's legs sticking out from under the bed. She didn't ask questions. She got a pillow and a blanket. She lay down on the floor next to the bed, holding John's hand. Room for one more? She asked. It's a party, John said. We lay there for an hour until the storm passed. My adoptive parents, lying on the floor, protecting me from the noise. They didn't try to fix me. They just joined me in my hiding place. That night, under the bed, I realized that I wasn't just a project to them. I wasn't a charity case. I was their person. And they were my people. But the biggest test was yet to come. A test that would challenge everything we had built. A test that came in the form of a letter from the past. The letter arrived on a Tuesday. It was a bright, sunny afternoon. I was in the kitchen, helping Sarah make cookies. The house smelled of sugar and butter. I was happy. I was humming a little song. For the first time in my life, I wasn't waiting for the bad thing to happen. John walked in with the mail. Usually he would smile and say, "Bills, bills, and more bills," and make a funny face. But today, he didn't smile. He looked at one envelope in his hand. His face was pale. He looked at Sarah. Sarah looked at him, and her smile disappeared. The kitchen suddenly felt cold. The smell of the cookies seemed to fade away. "What is it?" Sarah asked softly. John looked at me. "Ava," he said, "why don't we go sit in the living room?" My heart started to hammer against my ribs. Boom, boom, boom. This was it, the mistake, the bad news. They were going to send me back. I wiped the flour off my hands. I followed them into the living room. I sat on the edge of the sofa, my legs swinging nervously. John put the white envelope on the coffee table. It looked like a normal letter, but it felt heavy, like it was made of lead. "Ava," John said, sitting next to me, "this letter, it is from the agency, the adoption agency." I stopped breathing. "They received a message," Sarah said, sitting on my other side. She took my hand. Her hand was warm, but mine was freezing cold. "It is from your biological mother. My biological mother. The woman who left me. The woman I didn't remember. The woman who was just a shadow in my nightmares." "She wants to see you," John said. The world spun. I felt dizzy. She wanted to see me? Why? Why now? For 10 years she didn't want me. For 10 years I was invisible to her. And now, just when I was happy, just when I was safe, she wanted to come back. Do I have to go?" I whispered. My voice was so small I could barely hear it myself. Do I have to go with her? I thought this was the rule. I thought biology was the law. I thought that if she wanted me back, I had to go. I thought Sarah and John were just borrowing me. Sarah squeezed my hand tight. "Oh, Eva, no," she said. "No, no, no, you don't have to go anywhere. You are our daughter. You are legally ours. She cannot take you." "But she wants to see you," John said gently. "Maybe just for coffee. Maybe to talk. The agency thinks. They think you might want answers. They think maybe you want to know why." I looked at the letter. I didn't want answers. I didn't want to know why. I knew why. I wasn't good enough. I was the broken girl in the corner. I was the girl who broke bowls. If I saw her, all those feelings would come back. I don't want to, I said. Tears started to fall. Please don't make me. We will never make you, Sarah said. She pulled me into a hug. It is your choice, 100% your choice. If you want to throw this letter in the trash, we will throw it in the trash. If you want to read it in 10 years, we will put it in a box. You are the boss of your story, Eva. I looked at them. They looked scared too. They were scared that I would want to go. They were scared of losing me. I want to read it, I said suddenly. I didn't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe I needed to know if she was sorry. John opened the envelope. He handed me the paper. The handwriting was messy. Dear Eva, it said, I know you probably hate me. I was young. I was alone. I couldn't take care of you. I thought I was doing the right thing. But I think about you every day. I just want to see your face. I want to know you are okay. Love, Mary. I read it twice. I thought I was doing the right thing. I felt a strange anger. How was leaving me in a gray building the right thing? How was letting me feel invisible the right thing? I looked up at Sarah and John. They were watching me, waiting. She says she thinks about me, I said. But you are here with me. I thought about the thunderstorm. I thought about John lying on the floor under the bed. I thought about Sarah teaching me to cook. That was love. Love was being there. Love was showing up. I don't want to meet her, I said firmly. Not now. Maybe when I am older. But right now, I know who my parents are. I put the letter back on the table. Are you sure? John asked. Yes, I said. Can we go back to the cookies? I think they are burning. Sarah laughed, a sound of pure relief. Yes, the cookies. We ran back to the kitchen. The cookies were a little brown on the bottom, but they tasted delicious. We ate them warm, with cold milk. We didn't talk about Mary. We didn't talk about the past. We talked about tomorrow. We talked about school. We talked about what color to paint the garden fence. But the letter changed something. It made me realize something important. I wasn't just a victim. I wasn't just a leaf blowing in the wind. I had power. I had a choice. I chose Sarah and John, and they chose me. That double choice was stronger than any DNA. Life went on. I grew taller. I started middle school. I made a friend named Lucy who liked books as much as I did. I was becoming a normal teenager. But one day, when I was 13, I came home from school and found Sarah crying in the living room. She was holding a phone. She looked pale. Mom? I asked. I called her Mom now. It felt natural. What's wrong? She looked at me. It's John, she said. There was an accident at work. He's in the hospital. The fear came back. The old, cold fear. The fear that everyone I loved would leave me. See? The voice in my head said. Happiness is not for you. It always breaks. We drove to the hospital. It smelled like the group home. Antiseptic and old floor wax. I hated it. We waited in the waiting room for hours. Finally, a doctor came out. He has a broken leg and a concussion, the doctor said. But he is going to be fine. He is awake. We went into his room. John was lying in the bed. He looked bruised and tired. His leg was in a cast. But when he saw us, he smiled. Hey, kiddo, he said to me. Did you finish your homework? I burst into tears. I ran to the bed and hugged him, careful of his injuries. You scared me, I sobbed. I thought you were going to leave me. John looked at me seriously. He took my hand. Eva, listen to me. I am not going anywhere. I am going to be your dad when you graduate. I am going to be your dad when you get married. I am going to be your dad when you are old and gray. I am sticky like gum. You can't get rid of me. I laughed through my tears. That night, Sarah and I stayed at the hospital. I sat in the chair next to his bed. I watched him sleep. And I realized that family isn't about nothing bad ever happening. Bad things happen. People get hurt. People get sick. Family is about who sits in the chair next to you when the bad things happen. When John came home, he couldn't walk for weeks. He needed help. For the first time, I wasn't the one who needed taking care of. I was the caregiver. I brought him his meals. I helped him put pillows under his leg. I read to him. One afternoon, I was reading The Hobbit to him. He fell asleep. I looked at his face. I looked at the gray hairs in his beard, and I felt a wave of love so big it almost knocked me over. I went to the kitchen where Sarah was making tea. "Mom," I said. "Yeah, sweetie?" "I want to do something," I said. "I want to change my name." She stopped. "Your name?" "Yes," I said. "My last name is still the name of my biological father. I don't want it anymore. I want to be Eva Miller. I want to have the same name as you and Dad." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Are you sure? Your name is part of your history." "My history started the day you picked me up," I said. "I want my name to match my heart." We started the paperwork the next week. It was a long process. We had to go to court. We had to see a judge. It felt like a big, important ceremony. The day we went to the courthouse, I wore a blue dress. Sarah wore her best suit. John was on crutches, but he wore a tie. We stood in front of the judge. "Eva," the judge asked, "why do you want to change your name?" I looked at the judge. Then I looked at Sarah and John. "Because," I said into the microphone, "these are my parents. They saved me. They taught me that I am not broken. They taught me that I am lovable. I want the world to know that I belong to them." The judge smiled. He banged his gavel. "So ordered," he said. "Congratulations, Eva Miller." We walked out of the courthouse into the bright sunlight. I was Eva Miller. I felt like I had been born again. We went to a restaurant to celebrate. We laughed. We ate cake. But as we were leaving the restaurant, I saw something. Across the street, standing near a bus stop, was a woman. She was watching us. She had long brown hair just like mine. She looked sad. It was her, Mary, my biological mother. I knew it in my bones. She didn't wave. She didn't try to cross the street. She just watched. She watched Sarah fix my hair. She watched John put his arm around my shoulder. She watched us laugh. For a moment, our eyes met across the busy street. I didn't feel anger anymore. I didn't feel fear. I just felt closure. I looked at her, and then I looked at my parents. I turned my back on the woman at the bus stop. I took Sarah's hand. I took John's hand. And I walked away, down the street, with my family. I realized then that my story wasn't a tragedy. It wasn't a story about a girl who was thrown away. It was a story about a girl who was caught. 10 years have passed since the day I changed my name in the courthouse. I am 25 years old now. I am not the scared little girl hiding under the bed anymore. I am a grown woman. I have a car. I have a fiancé named David. I have a life that is full and happy. But I never forgot where I came from. I never forgot the feeling of the cold gray floor in the group home. I work as a social worker now. I work with the system that raised me. I go back to the gray buildings. I talk to the children who feel invisible. I sit in the corners with them. I bring them books. I try to be the person that Sarah and John were for me. One day last month, I met a little boy named Sam. He was 8 years old. He was angry. He threw his toys. He shouted at the teachers. The other workers said he was difficult. They said he was broken. They said he was unlovable. I sat on the floor with him. He tried to push me away. "Go away," he screamed. "I hate you." I didn't move. I stayed calm. "I know you are scared," I told him softly. He looked at me with wild, angry eyes. "I'm not scared. I'm bad. Everyone says I'm bad." "You are not bad," I said. "You are just lonely, and you think that if you scream, someone will finally hear you." He stopped shouting. He looked at me, confused. "How do you know?" "Because I was you," I said. "I sat in that same corner. I felt the same anger. And I promise you, Sam, you are not trash. You are a treasure. You are just waiting for the right people to find you." He started to cry. I held him. And in that moment, I felt the circle close. Sarah and John didn't just save me. They gave me the power to save others. They broke the chain of pain. Because they loved me, I learned how to love Sam. I went to visit my parents last Sunday. The house with the green lawn looks the same, but the trees we planted are tall now. Sarah has gray hair and soft wrinkles around her eyes. John walks a little slower because of his old leg injury, but their smiles are the same. They are still my safe place. We sat in the garden, drinking tea. The sun was setting, painting the sky in pink and orange. "I am proud of you, Eva," John said, watching me. "You are doing such important work with those kids." "I learned from the best," I said. "You taught me that patience is a superpower." Sarah smiled and squeezed my hand. "We didn't teach you that, honey. You always had a big heart. We just gave it a safe place to grow." I looked at them. I thought about biology. I don't have Sarah's nose. I don't have John's height. I don't have their blue eyes. But I have Sarah's kindness. I have John's sense of humor. I have their values. I am made of them, even if my DNA is different. People talk about rescue like it is a sudden event, like a fireman pulling a cat from a tree. But I learned that rescue is a long process. It takes years. It takes 1,000 small moments. It takes peanut butter sandwiches and bandages with Snoopy dogs and reading stories during thunderstorms. It takes staying when things get hard. It takes proving every single day that you are not going to leave. My name is Eva Miller. I was born to a stranger, but I was raised by heroes. I learned that you don't need to be born into a family to belong to it. You just need to be chosen, and you need to choose them back. The gray building is just a memory now, a shadow in the past. My reality is this sunny garden, these two wonderful people who became my world, and the future I am building. I was lost, but now I am found, and I will never, ever be invisible again. If this story about the true meaning of family touched your heart, please give this video a like. Do you believe that love makes a family more than biology? Share your beautiful thoughts in the comments. For more emotional English stories about hope and belonging, please be sure to follow our channel.